Alright folks, we've been bragging about it. We've got a couple of our Super Duty radios here. I'm going to show you this one first. Mine is hooked up, so we'll show you what kind of power and whatnot you can get out of these radios with one of our Super Duty conversions. This is my personal 2000. This one has independent transmit, receive coarse, receive fine 10-turn clarifiers, and they do work independently of each other. True independent transmit and receive for about 7 channels on the transmit. I'm sorry, for about 2 channels on the transmit down, and about almost a full channel on receive down. So I mean, receive is really what you're limited to, but the cool thing is you can dial your receive up and down and not affect your transmit frequency, thus ending the chase back and forth on sideband. If you're a sidebander, that is a beautiful radio to run. Now this belongs to one of our customers in Crete, Illinois, Mr. Dragon Slayer. This has got to be probably one of the most perfect Cobra 2000s I think I've ever seen. This radio, when he brought it to me, had only been channeled with a 5-digit or with a 5-position switch. The counter, the clarifier is popped, and what we did was, for him, because this niche is always grabbing people and driving you nuts trying to get it on 5.0, we line the clarifiers up to the right of the niche, about like so. So he'll come up on 5.0 about right there, transmit and receive. Well, now unlike mine, and you know, I can dial mine transmit up and down, receive up and down fine, receive up and down, or receive up and down coarse and receive up and down fine. So basically, a Super Duty's basically all the goodies that you want. Mine has Echo board. And the biggest thing that makes these radios what they are is our Stinger module. You have to refer to some of the pictures to see, but this is all you see of the module once it's installed. Okay, that is the heatsink on the bottom of this particular Super Duty. Now what happens is, in your speaker, this is the Cobra 2000 speaker that goes with his set. Once again, just a beautiful example of what these should be. And you'll notice on the back that there is a real heavy duty Cobra cord, okay, and a power cord. All right, this dude plugs into the wall, and with the DC cord here plugged into your DC plug back here, okay, this only powers the Stinger board. Okay, so now let me show you what happens with this. I've got my standby switch for my Stinger board on CBPA. The watt meter, 100 watts. Quarter watt dead key, about 12-15 watts of swing. Now all we're going to do is reach down here and turn our Stinger on. And then all hell breaks loose. It gets a real nasty attitude real quick. Audio. So yeah, that's right out of the back of the radio, 60-80 watts, and it does the same thing on sideband. So basically, a Super Duty is our Stinger board with the 30 amp switch mode supply built into the speaker, and mine is actually built in down here into this speaker. And as you can see back there, my power cord runs up and it plugs right into the back of my 2000. Like I said, this one's dead key in 5 and swinging about 80 on AM, solid 80, 85 on sideband. This one's doing 60, 80. We guarantee 50 watts with this conversion, but that's it on a Cobra 2000, because you never know who's tried to do what to them, and a lot of times the power just sometimes won't swing. We actually have a kick-ass swing conversion in this radio that actually worked out well. This radio actually came out of our parts pile. This is really an amazing radio. There's going to be a page featuring this radio, and there's going to be a page featuring this radio. This one, because it basically started off like this guy over here. Came out of the parts pile. And as you can see, we've got 2000s around here in various states. So this one's going to have an 8-digit frequency display. A 29 chassis Stinger board. It's probably going to swing about 130 watts straight AM radio. That's just one of the fun stuff we do. Now for this guy, he didn't want to, like on mine, my Stinger board turns off and on with my CBPA switch. He did not want to all of his switches are still stock, and everything still works perfectly. So we elected not to mess with his switches. And what we did was his standby switch is on the back of his speaker. So when this switch is up and that little light is on, then he knows the Stinger board is active. But this is plugged in. It's a regulated, fan cooled and thermal regulated 30 amp DC supply. Now for some of you guys that want it, we will hang an extra connector out the back with pigtails so that you can hook something else to the power supply, you know, hanging out like so far. That is an option, but you have to ask for it. We will do it. Because then you can take and throw like a little Texas Star 200 or something on it and run it right off the power supply in your speaker and not tap or mess with the power supply that's in your radio. When we're done with these radios, the internal power supplies are doing about 13.9 volts, which is about all you want to feed this particular radio, because it does get chattery and unruly on sideband. So you've got to keep the bias and everything on the outputs just so. And they will swing and they will talk. So there it is, boys and girls. That is, there'll be pictures on this page of various radios that we've done the Super Duty conversion on. This conversion basically is the 30 amp power supply, the Stinger board. If you don't have channels, if you've got one with an MB8734 chip, we will rip that out of there for you and put a Japan MB8719, just like the radio was designed around. And it will, you can see this through this whole video. Mine never comes off a 5.0 ever, transmit or receive. But of course, you know, I've got a really fine clarifier set up there. But I'm a sideband guy, so you know, my radio rocks on sideband. This gentleman, he's more of an AM guy, but his is set up. The nice part about our Stinger boards is that they will do the same amount of power on AM or sideband, as long as you've got the power levels on the main board set appropriately. And that's about it. Pretty much a Super Duty conversion is anything you want us to add to it, in addition to a 30 amp power supply, the Stinger board, an alternate power source on the back of your speaker. If you don't have channels, we'll put the channels in it for you. If you want an Echo board, we'll order one for you. Basically anything you want, we'll add to it. That is a Super Duty conversion. But I'm going to warn you guys, I mean, the conversion itself, say just a basic kit with no channels, no nothing, it's $200, okay? But the nice part is, if you don't have channels, or if the radio hasn't been peaked and tuned properly yet, or if it's out of alignment, or you got some other small issues, we will repair those in that price to get the radio ready for the conversion, okay? You can't see underneath mine, but mine's got the same heat sink that this one's got underneath. What we do is we sandwich the board in with the bottom cover of the radio. So actually the entire bottom of the radio becomes your heat sink, okay? And this guy sits down here with a limited amount of ventilation and never, ever, ever gets hot. I said there's pictures on this page of the different Stinger boards, different places we've mounted them. But this is a conversion. If you've got a nice 2000 and you just want it to be everything it can possibly be, I mean, power-wise, like I'm a sideband freak, so I've got mine set up to really dance on sideband, as well as my Echo board, swing kit, channels. This is a really nice, you know, for a parts file radio, this one came out really nice. So, and no, it's not for sale. Nobody's offered me what that one is worth yet. And it starts at $1,000 without speakers and a mic. That's just that one. But that is a very special unit. That unit has been fine-tooth combed by me for the last month and a half. This one was in perfect shape when I got it here from the customer. It was a joy to work on. We want to thank Mr. Dragon Slayer for bringing it to us and trusting us with his prized possession. I think we made it very cool for him. We made it just like ours. So the Cobra 2000 Super Duty conversion, 50 to 80 watts right out of the back of your radio. Standby switch on the radio so you can still run an external amp. Onboard 30 amp power supply, nice and incognito, neatly hidden, never see it. Everything's self-contained. It don't get any neater than this, guys. If you've got a nice 2000, call us, 708-515-1480. Talk to me. My name is George, Mr. 409, and we can discuss putting a Super Duty conversion on your 2000. So the question is, boys, how hard does your 2000 rock? Mine does 80 watts right out of the back of the radio. So, what's yours do? Give us a call. 409radios.com. Thanks.